Sekar Halayam Wahawadla. Peace and blessing to the Akim around the world that push the truth to the four corners of the earth. Right, this is Yaraba from the GMS Trinidad East Camp. I'll say I do a touch on this article, that I saw. It said Trinidad Saudi Chamber warns Soleimani. I'll pronounce his name as Soleimani for a lack of knowing how to pronounce it properly, right? Soleimani's death can affect TNT, right? Or TT, which is Trinidad and Tobago. Now, for those who just follow the news, they will know that, it have a controversy with America right now and Iran because of some bombing that took place, and one of the officials were killed, right? And what people doesn't understand. Not just that, but also when it comes to resources, like I say, import and export. If it is that we just receive a large amount of stuff from America, like food wise, in times of war, they're not going and release food because they will keep all the stocks that they have to be able to last the war out until the win, or until that's the mindset that they'll be in. Telling themselves that they'll hold all the food, everything that they need, and all the resources put into gas and whatever the case might be, until they actually win the war. That's how countries actually think. So they wouldn't be doing any export to people. Any stock that they have, they'll be keeping it to use for themselves. So other countries who actually rely on these countries will be affected by it, right? They said the death of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani can directly impact TT's energy sector, according to Chamberman of the Trinidad Saudi Chamber of Commerce, Umar Khan, on Saturday, right? And like that, I just talking about simple resources like gas and so forth, not even considering other things. Right, it says, speaking with Newsday, Khan said while he was still researching the circumstances and impacts of Soleimani's death, he said it could impact our economy. It's saying nothing the oil. It's saying noting the oil and gas sectors, because that's something that we just deal big with, right? Oil and gas, right? It says Soleimani was killed after a U.S. sanctioned drone strike in Iraq on Friday. It says in a wake of Soleimani's death, the Financial Times reported that oil price has spiked as U.S. and Iranian relations have sourced. And why it is the oil prices will spike? Because it wouldn't have any export of oil. So if it have a limited amount, because of lack of export, is obviously prices will go up. A situation like that in the Second Kings 6, it's 20 something, I believe. Second Kings 6, I'll start from 24, right? It say, and it came to pass after this that Ben Hadad king of Syria gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria. Right? And there was a great famine in Samaria, right? So they besieged the place and had nothing for the people to eat. And behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. So the head of an ass, which is actually an unclean animal, the head of an ass was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung, right? So this is doves, and a pigeon, dove shit. You understand? For 5 pieces of silver. That is show you how it had nothing to eat. You understand? So when it have a lack of something, you can see how the price of it does skyrocket. And this is a good example in a time of war. So not only Trinidad could be affected by this in terms of resources, but also in terms of food, because Trinidad don't have much natural like farmers, a lot of farmers who has actually plant and so forth. That wouldn't last. They're not self-sustainable. Majority of the food that Trinidad gets, they import it. They're not self-sustainable, and that's in the aspect. So if countries were, if two countries like that, and not only America would go to war, but the allies of America would go to war with them, and the allies of Iran would go to war with them. So nobody will be importing and exporting. So we wouldn't even be able to get food here. And also the same thing applies for those other countries, except for the ones who they in partnership with. They might have little trade in between them to help each other. But generally, you understand, countries not sharing the resources in time of war. So that will make food difficult for people. And you know how niggas this be when they do eat. And the food they have in this country, the amount of people that have, and the amount that these people has eat within a week, they will have nothing to eat. And even worse, at that time, the Lord might even send a famine. You understand? He might send some locusts to eat up all the remaining things that you probably could have eaten. The Lord will put it in some way that the people will starve. Because the scriptures talk about that. Scriptures talk about in that time, the people will starve. You see the second is just 15. Second is just 15, verse 53. Right? It say, if thou hast not always slain my chosen, exalting the strokes of thine hand, and saying over the dead when thou was drunken, it says, set forth the beauty of thy countenance. Right? It says, the reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom. Right? So they go and get a recompense. It said, therefore shalt thou receive recompense. It said, like as thou hast done to my chosen, and not just Esau and the other nations, but also 2/3 of our people. The scriptures talk about where you say, O Jerusalem, they that slayed the prophets. Our own people that guilty of that same thing also, following the same pattern as Esau. Right? Right. Done unto my chosen, saith the Lord, even so shall the Mosai, Yahweh, which is the Mosai's name in Hebrew, the Mosai do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief. It said, thy children shall die of hunger. You understand? So in that time, it will have famines. It will have the famine of the world, yes. Which is this knowledge wouldn't be pushed anymore. But it will also have famines, as in people have nothing to eat. And one of the ways those things will be implemented is because of lack of resources. In time of war, nobody is sharing the food. And even when they cut off export to the country, whoever it is have food stored here, they're not going to share their food neither. Because they don't know when they'll ever get more food again, so they wouldn't be sharing with the neighbor. And that way you'll see other prophecies coming into play, like men invading other men's houses because my food run out and I know you have. So men go want to run into people's houses and take their food. And then they go have some who just lawless and know that, the police don't have time, so they just going taking everybody's stuff because they could. You understand? That's the kind of things you would expect in a time of war. in a time of martial law. I remember it had some time. It have a movie I was watching the other day. It was World War Z, and in that movie, that was really kind of zombie apocalypse, and everything was crazy, and people was looting these stores, and you'd see a policeman. He was in one of these stores. I think it was in a pharmacy or something. He was there, and he was looting the store too, because he also had nothing to eat. He was in the same position. When you are actually in a environment where not even the police reliable, anything could happen. That is why in that time the Lord already had to be with you. Because if not, well, all right. Verse 57, it said, thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword, right? So some go die from hunger, some go die from some kind of, some kind of attack, probably gun, knife, the sword. The modern day sword is the gun. You might die from a cut. Somebody might chop you up. What kind of violence will be taking place in times like that? Somebody might shoot you. Who knows? And the scripture even say it is better to die by the sword than famine, but than hunger. It said that in Lamentations, right? It said, thy cities shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field, right? It said, they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, because there are people who wouldn't want to stay amongst others, so they might go in the mountains. But you wouldn't get nothing to eat up there, because the Lord not going to provide nothing for you. Because if he's not one of his chosen, he know he wants you taken out. Right? It said, they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh. That go back to the same story I was reading just now in the Kings. When you go further down in it, you'll see it had two women, and one of them child end up getting eaten. You will see that stuff going and come back again. A person might say in the right mind now, in this time, I'll never eat my child, but after 3 or 4 days of having nothing to eat, and you never fast one day in your life, the Lord go put some spirits on you. Trust me, you'll do it. You will do it. Right? It say, and eat their own flesh and drink their own blood. It say for very hunger of bread and thirst of water. So that is the kind of, and the Lord will be also be putting spirits on you. So it's not to say like you will be just hungry, but you go have spirits that will be on you that like amplifying it. It's like when you're doing a normal fast, and then when you're going on actually on the Day of Atonement, there's be a harder fast because you have spirits constantly provoking you to try to get you to do something to eat, to get something to eat, because on that day you can't eat or drink. Yeah, it's our spirits plaguing you. Brothers even talk about the dreaming, the eating, all kind of thing. That's how spirits will be plaguing you to do certain things. In that time, when the Lord actually implement these things, and he actually set forth to destroy the two-thirds, they go and have them kind of spirits on them to cause them to do these things. They're going to eat their own children, and they're going to be crying while they're doing it, but they'll still be doing it because that is what the Lord said will happen. Right? Verse 59. It said, those unhappy shall come through the sea and receive plagues again. And you'll see like them people who might try to escape one place and go to the next. You can't escape the judgment of the Lord. You understand? You can't escape it. I think I'll stop there. Right? But whoever it is watching the video could always go down and look at all the different other things that the Lord said would take part in that time. But all this is just as the scriptures say, the beginning of sorrows. Right? But when any time actually escalate, whereas war actually take full effect, you understand? It's going to be different. It's going to be different. You're going to see that is when they will turn to the kings, and the kings will can't help them. Why? Because it's the Lord doing them these things. And everybody is always sort of waiting to see how this country will deal with that, because this country have a saying they like to use, like they say, God is a Trinity. You understand? They want to name They want to name the highest of highs after three mountains, or after this pagan trinity that Christopher Columbus used to be a part of. You understand? And these Catholics talk about the Trinity. You understand? And that's what they want to name the Lord after. So when the time comes that the Lord ready to smite them, they will have to answer for these things and for not doing the will of the Lord. And the scriptures say what? It say in that time, it say it's saying hunger, thou shalt laugh. That is Job 5, verse 19. It say, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. It say, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. So when that war actually take full effect, and these countries actually lock up everything, have nothing to eat, and actually a lot of killings taking place, and a lot of unlawlessness and so forth, the Lord will take care of his people. He will keep them in that time. Now, we have some that ordained to be beheaded for the word, or to die for the word. Talk about that in Revelations 2. It said the devil shall cast some of you into prison. It has some of us will have to go through that. But for the ones who he ordained to actually make it to the end, they don't have to worry about the war, and they don't have to worry about famine. Right? But these things will come. And these are the kind of things that wars bring. Lawlessness, people killing each other, hunger, eating each other. You understand? Verse 21, it said, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. It said, destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Why? Because you got stuff to eat. The Lord used to feed Israel with manna from the sky. With Ezekiel, he used to let a raven bring meat and bread for him. I believe it's meat and bread. You understand? He could feed you in a million ways. He feel like he could even make you turn bread and stone into bread if he wanted. You understand? Right? Yeah, destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. So if you also bounce up you also go up in the mountain, you bounce up one of them wild boars, or you bounce up a cheetah, or one of them wildcats on them, they're not going to attack you because the Lord protecting you. And that is the reason why we're doing the things that we're doing now. You understand? We're keeping and holding fast to the things that we know now. Why? So when that time comes, we wouldn't have to worry about these things. So when everybody in America, everybody in Trinidad telling themselves, well, all right, war coming, but I wonder what we could do. We don't, people of the Lord don't care about that. You understand? We don't care about that. When it happen, it happen. If the Lord want me to be beheaded, I'll be beheaded. But if he don't want me to be beheaded, as long as you hold fast to the things you're supposed to, you understand, the Lord said that he will be with you. Scripture see that in what? I'll let me my last scripture. I didn't think it would have go so long. The Spirit does go. Revelations 3 verse 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Actually keeping to these things. You understand? We see any signs coming, and we keeping to these things that the Lord say. You understand? You got to do it the best you could. Right? Keep the word of my patience. Say, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. So in that time, the Lord will keep you. You can't keep yourself in that time. You could be surrounded by 12 guys who gang up with each other, to try to take you out. Because, they had the power to do it, not knowing that the Lord could smite all of them before your face. In that time, a chaos and lawlessness and nothing to eat is the Lord that will already be taking care of you in that time. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. They say, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell on the earth. And in those times you will be tried. You might go hungry for a day, who knows? You don't know what kind of trial he might put you through to see if you already hold firm to the end. He might put you under a guillotine, and right before the guillotine cut your neck off, the guillotine break in half. You don't know. You don't know what the Lord will put you through, and that way you have to build your spirit now to be able to deal with whatever it is the Lord had to give you. Whether it be at the last to the end, whether it be you have to be beheaded for the word because the Holy One to tell you take the chip or that. You understand? You have to be able to deal with that. But the point of the whole from the start, you know, Trinidad will be affected by these things, as they say. Even though people think that they wouldn't, they will be affected by it. War, especially in first world countries, does affect everybody. Especially this war. This war wasn't like a lot of wars back then. You had one or two that was similar, but scriptures say one. This one is fought with fire, with fire and flames. You understand? It's not like with swords and they go on a battlefield and chop each other up. This one, everything, you know, cities going and melt. You understand? Anyway, I hope it was edifying. With that, I'd like to say Kahalayam, Wahawadla, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash. You know, that belongs to the apostles and elders of great Milson of Rubel. Peace and blessing to the Akim, only word that pushes truth to the four corners of the earth. All right? Shalom.